It's great to see so many of you guys out today. I know someone had said there might have been a little bit of confusion in time, but I know several of us have other meetings and we have another event going on here in this room later this evening. So we do want to go ahead and get started and make sure that we cover everything. My name is Kara Dentz, and I'm the Executive Director of the Greenbrier County Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I can really kind of say welcome to my home, because this feels like home to me here in this new visitor center. We just opened up a little over a year ago, and we're here in the Ray Hall room, and I'm very happy to host you all today. I'm very excited about this project, very excited about the Boy Scouts coming for a host of reasons. First and foremost, I think it's going to be excellent for just the overall outlook of West Virginia and what people view of our state, and gives us the opportunity to open us up and introduce us to many people who may never come to West Virginia. I think it's going to be incredible for tourism. Not only do I think that when mom and dad drop off little Johnny over at the Boy Scout camp in Glen Jean for a week, and they don't want to go all the way back to California, because I know if I were dropping off my little Johnny, I wouldn't want to. We hope that they're going to spend some time in our area and exploring, and in particular here in Greenbrier County, and that will make a difference too. And it's the project is also close to my heart, because my husband has actually been one of the land surveyors that's been working on the project for the past 3 years, since before it was really even announced and we knew it was coming to West Virginia. So I don't know every part of the land by actually seeing it, but I sure have heard a lot about it, I can tell you that. So it's a pleasure to have you all here today, and we want to go ahead and get started. I want to first introduce Dave Kopsa. He is the Assistant Manager of Programs with the Jamboree, the Summit, and Boy Scouts of America, and he's going to give us an overview of the Boy Scout project itself. Thank you.
That's good. You gotta learn that.
I'm just developing these skills. I'm doing this presentation every night, and so this presentation kind of takes us through the whole story of how we got here and where we're going. So thank you for taking the time out to come here tonight. Basically, our search for a permanent home for the Jamboree started around 2005. We were having a Jamboree that year and a little bit before. Well, first of all, we held our Jamborees at Fort A.P. Hill from 1981 to 2010. And for our 2005 Jamboree at Fort A.P. Hill, a little bit before, as we were coming into 2005, the growing needs of the military and their training caused a brief moment where we thought the military might have to deny us use of Fort A.P. Hill for 2005. So everybody panicked. And we eventually, they worked it out, and they were able to use it for 2005. But that scare caused the Boy Scouts of America to realize that they should be prepared for something like that. Being prepared is a little saying that we have in the Boy Scouts, if you're familiar with us. So they decided that they were going to take on this great project of finding a permanent home for the National Jamboree. To make sure we were able to do that search, and that we were going to be able to purchase the land that we eventually decided on, the most important thing happened. Stephen Bechtel donated $50 million, the largest cash donation to the Boy Scouts of America in our history, so that we could be assured that once we found the site, we could purchase it. So that's an important point, I think, that Stephen Bechtel didn't donate $50 million to buy the Summit. He donated $50 million to the concepts. He hadn't even seen the land, but that's how much he believed in this process and how important it was for us to get a permanent home. Requests went out. We received from 28 states 80 submissions for possible sites. This covered every region of the country, every time zone, and a wide variety. We started narrowing in on West Virginia for a couple reasons. Things that were very important to us for our site, what we wanted. First of all, we wanted support from the local state government. We wanted to make sure that they were going to be supportive of this project and on board with it. We wanted easy access. 4-lane roads near the site were very important. We wanted to be close to world-class outdoor adventure experiences. And we wanted to be close, we wanted to be somewhere that a large portion of our population, of our scouts, could get to. So, we'll tackle that first. West Virginia is very centrally located when you take into account population density. It is within 500 miles or a 10-hour drive of 66% of the U.S. population and 33% of the Canadian population. Why that's important in scouts, a group of scouts is only allowed to drive for 10 hours in a day. So 66% of the population is within that rule. That makes it a realistic day's journey for them. With the roads, you guys know the area. We've got 64, 77, Highway 19, goes right here. So good transportation infrastructure as far as that goes. And then our proximity to world-class outdoor adventures, we're bordered on 3 sides here by the New River Gorge National River Area, world-class whitewater, world-class rock climbing. I don't think you can find a site with those criteria that's more perfect than the summit site that we decided on here in West Virginia. The last thing that was most important, support of the local government, state government. Then Governor Joe Manchin, now the senator, says West Virginia and the Boy Scouts of America go together like peas and carrots. So that is, I think he's senator at this point. He was at the groundbreaking last year. He's there with Rex Tillerson. Rex Tillerson is the volunteer president, national president of the Boy Scouts of America. He also works for a little mom and pop organization, ExxonMobil. He is the president and CEO of Exxon. And that support has continued for the new governor, Earl Ray Tomlin, on all levels, and very, very excited to be here in West Virginia. Here's a little picture. I keep it very blurry because it's our ultimate development plan. I don't want you to hold me to all these promises that are up on there. That could very well change. But we do have a 10-year development construction plan. A lot of people ask, are you going to be ready for the Jamboree in 2013? You're surely not going to be done in 2013. I was like, no, we're not going to be done, but we are going to be ready. We'll have everything we need to have a great Jamboree in 2013. We'll have more stuff in 2017. We'll have to be further developed. And in 2019, when we have the World Jamboree, which I'll speak about a little later, we'll have more stuff. And in 2021 is kind of the end of that major development phase. But you know how those things go. So right now, our inaugural event is the 2013 National Jamboree, July 15th through 24th of 2013, where we'll have approximately 40,000 scouts and adventurers, and we will have around 8,000 staff living on around 10,600 acres, but really they'll be in about 1,300 acres. What you see here is the major focus of development right now is the Jamboree footprint. It's about 1,300 acres, and this is where the vast majority of activities will be occurring for the 2013 Jamboree. We'll take you on a whirlwind tour here, starting with the living areas. These areas here, where you see the little plots and whatnot. This is the village living areas. This is where the scouts and staff will be living for the 10 days while they're here in the Jamboree. This has been kind of the major area of work that's been going on since we broke ground last October. I don't know if you guys are campers, but when I camp, I like to stay in my tent and not slide out the front. So relatively flat surfaces are best for tents. And in West Virginia, I've learned that flat spots are at a premium. So it's a lot of work just moving dirt, flattening the hills. We kind of finished that part of the operation in June, and you'll see some aerial photography on where that is now. The great thing about owning our site is we now get to develop permanent facilities on the property. In the past, all the activities, all the things that the kids did had to be built and taken down in about a period of a month and a half. That doesn't lend itself to you know, the highest quality of stuff, the most high-tech, edgy program materials. So now that we own the site, we are, our top goal is to build the best, the coolest stuff that these kids are going to want to do. Right here is what we call Mayhem Mountain. It's our extreme sports area. They will have skateboarding, BMX biking, and mountain boarding. It's being designed by a company named Spawn Ranch. They have designed and built all the facilities for the X Games since its inception. So the leader in their field, and that's kind of the example with all the companies that we're working with. We have here and here is our shooting sports area. This is our archery area, and this is our firearms area. Archery will have lots of, you know, really cool target archery. We'll have 3D field archery with the animal targets. We'll even have action archery. It's where the machine throws a foam disc up in the air and the kids shoot out with their bow and arrow. It's like clay pigeon shooting, except with bows and arrows. At Fort AP Hill was a military base, so all the firearms had to be short range. Here, it's our property. We're designing a world-class shooting facility that will have not just shotguns and but rifles, pistols for the older scouts and venturers. Really great stuff, a wide variety of activities. Right here is Adventure Valley. This is kind of all the coolest stuff you have at your local council camp. It's going to be home to the challenge courses. It'll have around 37 miles of mountain bike trails. It'll have a world-class climbing area. We'll be using both natural rock and artificial constructed climbing walls made to look like natural rock to get all the kids we want through climbing and rappelling. And then two of our kind of signature events right here and here are our zip lines, our big zip lines. This one here is around 4,000 feet, and the end going right over that lake there. Really cool stuff. Right here, kind of similar to zip lines, is our canopy tour area. You guys are from the area, similar to what Class 6 has, the company Bonsai that built their big zip lines and canopy tours are building our facility, and this is going to be the largest canopy tour facility they've ever constructed. So we're really trying to, like I said, provide our kids, our scouts, with the biggest, best stuff, the coolest things, to give them a great time. In the center here is the Summit Center. The Summit Center, during the Jamboree, will be open to the public. Scout or not a scout, you can come, pay a day fee, and you'll be able to see all the things that are inside this area. You won't be able to go to the living areas or to the base camps I just talked about. That'll be, during the Jamboree, that'll be reserved for our scouts. But in the Summit Center area is where we have our major retail operations, where we have our scouting museum, our exhibits, displays from all of our various partners. We have our arena area here. We have two big shows. This arena is being built to hold 80,000 people. During the Sunday night show, we have a Tuesday opening show. It's just for the participants, but the Sunday evening show of the Jamboree, where we have music, fireworks, all sorts of cool stuff. Anyone that pays the day fee for that day to come to the Summit Center will be able to stay and check out the arena show. And one of the really cool parts, I think the coolest part about the Summit Center is Action Point. On Action Point is going to be smaller versions of the activity types that are represented in the base camps. So if you come and check out the Summit Center on the day trip, you'll be able to get a taste of what the kids are doing out there in the activity areas. And that includes two smaller zip lines that go right over the arena. So it's going to be really cool. I guess this is a closer up view of the Summit Center. There you can see the zip lines, Action Point, look at canopy tours here, rock climbing, mountain biking, skateboarding, all sorts of really cool stuff. This is the Console Energy Bridge. You may have heard about it, but visitors will be able to go to that point there. It's going to be a really cool bridge that Console Energy donated the money for. So this is some aerial photography here. Kind of orient you. This is the water tower up in Oak Hill. Highway 19 is somewhere in this vicinity, New River, Gorge, all that kind of Fayetteville over here. So these are the living areas. This is that action point I was talking about. There will be eventually, when we get our permits, a lake in this area here. These are the living areas. You can start to see that the grass is growing. If you're on there now, it'll be dotted with a bunch of little buildings that are the shower houses for the scouts. We're building 350 shower houses, high tech, some of the best shower houses in the world, so that our kids can come to the Jamboree and take one shower over the course of 10 days. So we're really excited. But another angle. Let me orient myself. This is actually the staff camp. This is a good view of what the staff is going to live. This is Village F. And then that's that lake there. This is A and B Village. There's Action Point again in the lake. So this is a model campsite we had set up. One of the biggest, most important things about this project is to make it sustainable. Be sustainable, we call it ecological practices to the best of our ability. A great example of that is to get all this flat space, we had to cut down a lot of trees. Our shower houses, the wood portion, is built by trees that we cut down and had milled. So we're trying to be as efficient and mindful of those practices. This is they use hemlock, doesn't need to be treated, doesn't need to be painted, and that's really cool. The other really cool thing about the Jamboree, what a permanent facility allows us to do, we are going to now provide the vast majority of the crew equipment needed for groups to come out to the Jamboree. In the past, they had to provide all the tents, they had to provide their picnic tables, stoves, shelters, everything. We're providing all that now. There's stoves, wagons to haul their food, the tents, there's cots inside them. All a kid coming to Jamboree needs to bring is a duffel bag, which we'll send them ahead of time. They fill that with their personal clothes. They bring a mess kit, their own personal dishes. They bring a couple water bottles and a day pack, and they will be good to go at the Jamboree. What that's done, to do that, to add that equipment, we raised the price from $800 in 2010 to $850. That's just the Jamboree fee. The total cost of the Jamboree is that Jamboree fee plus whatever transportation and equipment costs that they have from their local councils. The local councils, when they had to buy all this, if they're bringing 2, 3, 4 troops out, they had to hire a semi, possibly 2 semis, just to get all the stuff they need. They don't have to do that anymore. So the council is virtually eliminating all their equipment costs, which by us raising it $50 and providing all this equipment, we're seeing that the totals, depending on their location in the country, is going from anywhere between $150 to $300 cheaper to come to the 2013 Jamboree. So we think that's really cool for our first Jamboree at a new site, that it's going to be cheaper for a kid to come here. So, people are always asking me about jobs. Right now, the majority of jobs are through Trinity, our developer that we hired to build the site. There's about 7 or 8 of us that work for the Boy Scouts directly. Trinity is the contractor we hired to develop the site. In our contract with them, we stipulated that they hired 80% West Virginia staff, workers, and labor. The other 20%, a lot of that is made up by the action sport consultants that are building the extreme sports areas, the mountain bike trails, the companies that were not available in the state. So for the next, as we gain more control of the site, Boy Scouts will be employing more people. But right now, pretty much everything that's going on the site is constructed by Trinity. And so for the next couple of years, that's where a majority of the job opportunities are going to be through. They're trying to be very efficient and quick. This whole schedule to be ready for 2013 was very accelerated. When weather permits, they do 2 10-hour shifts a day. They're using technology. The graders, for instance, when they're doing the grade worked out, the shovels had GPS units on each side, and it used GPS positioning to tell it how much to tilt the shovel by. So that kind of technology they're bringing to the to the table. We found a lot of rock on the site, and that's really important too, the sustainability. And we not found this rock, this quarry, we would have had around 26,000 truckloads of gravel transporting 300,000 tons of stone on the local roads. So that doesn't have to happen. All the rock that we need is right there, and never has to go on the pavement. That's more of the equipment, campsite. As I said, we got the best together to design this property. We pulled our lead volunteers, and they worked with the professional consultants for about 2 weeks in a barn last January, and basically established the design parameters for the site, and it's going to be great. Summit Corps 2011. Over a 4-week period, we had 1,200 members of the Order of the Arrow come out and build a 12.8-mile stack loop mountain bike trail in the New River Gorge. So all the work they did this past summer, if you heard about it, it wasn't on our site. It was on public lands that's already being used by mountain bikers. I was running around in the gorge a couple weekends ago. I had some sort of Boy Scout logo, and the guy stopped me and said thank you and told me how great the trails were. And I said, well, I didn't really build anything, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. So we thought that was very cool, that one of the first youth events we had here was a project that everyone in the region can enjoy. People ask about funding. We're raising money. This slide has changed over the past couple weeks. We now have around $250 million of the $400 million raised. This is Jim Justice, who just announced a major $25 million donation last month. So that's really cool. But going back to the Summit Corps, that's really what we're here today about. Service projects, service work is very important to Scouts. As you go through each rank level of advancement from tenderfoot to second class, first class, star, life, and eagle, those are all the 6 levels of scouting addiction. And to accomplish each of those levels, you have got to provide a certain amount of hours of service work. So it's something that's in our DNA, it's in our blood, and it's very important to us, and we're going to bring that part of scouting to the Jamboree. For 5 days of the Jamboree, we will send around 8,000 scouts out into local southern West Virginia communities to do service projects that are going to make a difference and have a lasting impact in what goes on here in southern West Virginia. So that's why we're here today, to talk to you guys, to get the word out about this project. 40,000 scouts working for 6 hours. That's going to equate a lot of projects. And I'm new to the area. I can't tell you I can't assign the projects. It would be a mess. We need your guys' help to tell us what sort of things, improvements, work could be done in your communities that can really make a difference. Ultimately, the BSA will have final say in all the projects. We'll have to say yes or no to a project. If we say no, it's only going to be because we cannot logistically support it. We're not going to be telling you guys that, oh no, this is not nearly as important as that. You guys need to tell us that that is what we're here for, this is what we're starting this process for. We need to hear from you about what sort of projects can make a difference in your communities. So thank you for your time. A couple other points we wanted to make. The world is coming to southern West Virginia in 2019. The United States, Mexico, and Canada put together a proposal, and it was unanimously accepted. And those 3 countries will host the 2019 World Jamboree here in West Virginia. Our hope is that we do, in the Jamborees at least, at the very least, Jamborees, we get our kids out doing these projects. So 2013 is just the start of what we hope is a long-term project process of helping out this community. So we look forward to that. I have lots of information for when we break up here, all of our website addresses, but the best website, the place where it all starts, is summit.scouting.org. That's where our scouts go up to sign up. That's where our staff goes to register as Jamboree staff members. There's lots of maps, videos, lots of cool stuff there to check out. July 15th through the 24th, 2013 National Jamboree. That's when we'll be opening our doors. And we've got a little video here.
The future of scouting is being shaped in the mountains of West Virginia. It's called the Summit Bechtel Family National Scout Reserve, the Summit for short, and there's nothing else like it on Earth. It's high adventure. The Summit sits on more than 10,000 acres in one of the greatest outdoor playgrounds in the world. It's a gathering in war. The Summit is the new permanent home of the National Scout Jamboree. It's the future shaped by you, today's scouts. You're setting the course for the next century of scouting, and it leads to the summit. The summit will host the 2013 National Scout Jamboree, and plans for the largest youth gathering in the world couldn't be bigger. It began with a history-making $50 million donation from the Stephen D. Bechtel Jr. Foundation, the largest in scouting history. And with millions more in charitable giving since then, the 2013 Jamboree at the Summit is shaping up to epic proportions. Visitors will have some amazing spaces to share with us at the inaugural Jamboree, and large parts of the Summit will be Scouts only during that time. Also, 2013 will be the first year to include venturing at the Jamboree. Themed subcamps will dig deep into the action sports that are at the center of the Summit experience. Get ready. The 2013 Jamboree will be like nothing you've ever seen. The Summit is the Boy Scouts' 4th National High Adventure Base, and it's going to be intense. The High Adventure Base at the Summit Bechtel Reserve will be a chance for Scouts to take on a load of outdoor challenges, all in one place. The result is friendship, leadership, and memories that will last a lifetime. The Summit is an opportunity for every Scout to come away with unforgettable experiences forged in adventure. The Summit puts everything cool about scouting in one place. This setting, this experience, this kind of scouting, it's life-changing.